Hello and welcome to Simple French Cooking. My name is Francois and today I want to teach you how to make a traditional French onion soup. French onion soup is perhaps the most iconic and well-traveled of all French dishes. Worldwide, it's seduced more stomachs than even New England clam chowder. And by the way, clam chowder is based on a French recipe as well, but that's a subject for another episode. It's funny because if you look up the history of French onion soup, you're going to see a lot of theories. My favorite one is that Louis XV was hunting with him and his buddies, and I guess they didn't get anything, and they went back to the little hunting lodge, and all they had was a bottle of champagne and a few onions, and, you know, what is a poor monarch to do but improvise? I mean, I think I started laughing and spit my coffee out. The truth of the matter is, French onion soup has been simmering on a farmhouse kitchen stove since the dawn of time. I mean, it's one of the most basic and rudimentary soups. But in today's episode, I want to teach you how I make it. It's a very traditional way. And if you search for a recipe online, you're going to see all kinds of crazy things. I mean, my two biggest grievances are probably A, that almost nobody caramelizes the onions properly. They do it for a really short time, and this is where the flavor of the soup comes from. You know, this is why traditional recipes use water instead of stock, because they don't have to compensate for a weak broth by adding, you know, something full flavored like a beef stock. I mean, sure, the beef stock adds more flavor, makes it more meaty, and is delicious in its own right, but you really don't need it. My second grievance is almost everybody, and I mean, I'm talking well-known people on YouTube sharing their recipes, put sugar in it. I mean, sugar? Sugar doesn't belong in French onion soup. It's one of those crazy hacks that really doesn't make sense, and there's no reason to add a tablespoon of sugar to your onions. It, to me, makes it icky sweet, and that's not what this is. This is a soup, and not a dessert soup. So at any rate, let me show you the correct way to do it. Let's get cooking. Now it's very, very important to start with a sharp knife, so always make sure you just put it on the steel right before starting. Cut both ends off your onion, then cut it in half. Then you're going to want to remove the outer peel, and I like to save this for making stock. You know, at my house we're always making stock. You can find the recipe on my channel if you like. Now we want to slice the onion as thin as possible. Be very careful not to cut your finger.
Mr. Sweet Onion, why do you make me cry?
When I learned how to make French onion soup long ago, I was always taught to use a little bit of bacon in there, and you know, I've come to really love the kind of like smoky, fatty porkiness it gives the soup. Now, starting over medium to high heat, we're going to add our butter to a pan, then add our diced bacon. And we just want to cook this for about 4 minutes. You know, what we're trying to do is get some of the fat out of the bacon and make it soft. And I like to add in some garlic. Now, if you don't like garlic, don't add it. Then add all of your onions. You know, every time I make onion soup, I'm always amazed at how many onions this starts out as. I mean, it just seems like an obscene amount. But cooking over a medium-high heat, you're gonna wanna cook this like for about 10 minutes. And I like to cover it to just like help soften the onions a little quicker. In the beginning, you don't really have to worry too much about burning. But now turn your heat down to low, and you're gonna see the juice coming out. Now I like to set a timer for 90 minutes. You heard me right, not 45 minutes, not 30 minutes, but 90 minutes. Let this cook super slowly uncovered. You wanna stir it often. And you'll notice juices coming out of the onions, but as it cooks down and nears the 90-minute mark, you're gonna notice the onions have reduced quite a bit. They're very thick. This is when I add the thyme and the bay leaf, and now you have to start stirring a lot because the sugars are really coming out of the onions. And you don't want it to get too dark brown at this point. Add a little bit of flour. This is gonna thicken it up, and if you don't like flour, don't use it. Add about 1 cup of red wine or white wine or no wine. And then I'm going to add chicken stock. I know this is a dark chicken stock, but that's how I make mine at home. And we're just gonna let this simmer for about 30 minutes. You just really want all the flavors to marry. So our next consideration is to think about what are we going to serve our French onion soup in. Now you need something oven proof. So whichever of the choices that I go over, you just have to make sure it's something that you have that can go under the broiler for a few minutes while your cheese melts. I mean, classically you would find little soup tureens kind of like this. You know, when I started out cooking, this is what we used for onion soup. I also have this beautiful cast iron pan from Lodge, and this is something I love serving it. And I mean, it's just a really cool kind of rustic presentation, and it really keeps in the spirit of classic French onion soup. I've also used ramekins. I mean, almost everybody has ramekins lying around their kitchen. And you know, worst case, I've also used a coffee cup. So, you know, you can either be funky, use a lot of different kind of containers and keep it kind of eclectic and fun on your table, or, you know, use one of those. All right, whatever you're serving in, just fill it almost to the top with your soup. Then you're gonna wanna take a couple pieces of toasted bread, no need for butter or oil on it. And I use a mixture of Gruyere and a little mozzarella. I know mozzarella is not orthodox, but I just love the cheese pull. Oh my God, look at this. It is so beautiful. It looks so delicious. Oh, I can't wait to dig into it. Oh God, look at that cheese. The broth is a deep brown, beautiful color with a sweet flavor. No sugar added, just pure onion flavor. Everything you want in a perfect onion soup. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'm sorry, but I gotta go. You know, if you like my channel, please subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications, and sorry, I gotta eat this. This is the best part of French onion soup, is the cheese.